Hello, Barmy Badger Army.
Hey, Badger Army.
Welcome back to On the Bench.
And we really are back.
We are back. Apologies for the lack of weekly shows, but it's just one of these things. Some things have come up with Nick, some things have come up with myself, so we haven't been able to sort of correlate on timetables.
We're just busy modern men.
Indeed. So it's just one of these things. So we apologise for the lack of the shows, but we are going to hopefully try and do them weekly once again. So do not worry. The On the Bench segment has not been cancelled or anything random like that. It's just
don't get rid of us that easily.
Yeah, it's just trying to correlate the times. But yes, I hope everyone is well. And today we're going to talk about poor old Keith from the Prodigy.
Yeah,
and
who was saddest stories. He was found dead at his flat on Monday morning.
Yes.
And the thing is, at the time of us filming this, no actual cause of death has been released.
Not really,
but,
no. They just know that it has been a suspected suicide,
yeah.
don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't really understand why it's happened. They were going to do a big tour in the coming months, so there was lots of things going to happen with him.
There's been some speculation about him having issues regarding his house, something like that.
Okay, right.
We've not been able to look into that in a lot of detail, but people are just trying to find any kind of answers at the moment.
It's very bizarre, yeah, because obviously, I don't know about your age range, but what was it, Firestarter came out in 1997?
1996.
Okay, so I would have been 16, so that would have been like the highlight of my sort of senior school years. That was really exciting time to listen to music in the early 90s.
I mean,
it was insane, you know.
The Prodigy were one of the biggest and most innovative acts of the 90s. I mean,
oh my goodness me, yes.
Even before Firestarter,
yeah.
You know, they had lots of hits like Charlie, like No Good, Voodoo People.
Yes, I remember Voodoo People.
The video
actually.
for
Yeah,
Voodoo
I remember
People,
that.
I'll stand corrected if it's not this one, but I think that one was actually. That video was actually featuring blindfolded people running. Was actually filmed in Romford Town Centre, our hometown.
Yes, that makes sense, and I do actually remember something along the lines of that, where they were filming music videos, and I think they filmed some other adverts there at the time as well.
They did,
I remember watching them at that time period. It's mad.
Yeah.
Because I remember, because I was out down the pub while they were doing it, so that's mad, isn't it? But yeah.
I mean, other tracks like Out of Space,
famous tracks.
Jilted Generation.
That's right, yeah.
This was even before Firestarter came out.
That's right, yeah.
It was true. It was, it was really unlike anything that anyone had ever heard before, and they were one of the bands who were and still are one of the bands that united dance and rock fans.
That's right, I was going to say, yeah.
When you consider how segregated dance and rock became in the 90s.
Most definitely, yeah. It was almost like a big thing, wasn't it? Which one's which and all that sort of thing, and really sort of battled. Yeah, the dance scene and the rock scene and the sort of electronic metal music, they seem to marry it all together, because he had like a heavy metal attitude, they had the dance metal music, and he obviously had the punk hairstyle, so it was almost a marriage of 3 or 4 different styles of music, which is insane.
Yeah, and then when you had Firestarter, you had Breathe.
That's right.
The album that those 2 tracks came from, The Fat of the Land, went to #1 all over the world.
Of course, and we've got Smack My, and I won't reveal the other bit, but yeah, that was one of the most famous tracks that they've ever done, and that was actually really notorious, and I believe you were saying that nearly got banned. The video nearly got banned, am I correct?
Yes, I think it was banned from most TV stations.
Which is insane, yeah, because it was just one that's so controversial for the time.
But even later on, you had tracks like Omen, I want to say Warriors Dance, but it's not called that.
It's something along the lines of that, though. I know where you're coming from. Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, and Poison as well. Poison, from the 90s.
Yeah.
You know,
how many tracks?
Yeah,
so many good tracks.
Indeed, and they were actually from not far from us. They were formed originally in Braintree.
That's right, and like we were saying,
Essex.
he died in Essex. His house was home was in Essex, so it feels very, very, very near to the mark, very raw, because it was really in our hometown.
Yeah, because it's close to home in every sense.
Very close to home in every sense, and I've been a big fan of them for ages. I really loved Invaders Must Die, their latest album that came out a few years ago. I thought that was fantastic, really, really on the nose, really good electronic metal. You know, so I really love Invaders Must Die. I really loved all their old tracks. You know, I think he was going to be on tour. They were still busy as a band. You know, their
last album only came out in November or something.
Exactly,
like that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's really, really close to home, and it's just something really random. Like, I don't know. There was no sort of information about his mental health or anything like that in the media, I don't think. So I think it has become a real big shock about what happened.
Yeah, I mean he was known for having a near the mark lifestyle.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Even now.
Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah, maybe that's what's, you know, spurred it on a bit. You know, it's rather unusual. But yeah, no, such a ingenious man and such an interesting thing. So it's a real big shame what happened. You know, such an interesting character, like we were saying, and the fact that he managed to unite several different music genres, and the band The Prodigy managed to do this was fantastic. You know, there's not many bands that are able to do that now. Do you know of any bands that can do that now? And maybe one or two tops, and that's a real tough one.
Yeah, there's certainly you certainly wouldn't describe anyone as being like he was in the 90s. You know,
no,
it was just,
no.
You know, it was you know, it's when there was really nothing. There was really kind of like when, as you know, everyone remembers the video to Firestarter.
That's right. Everyone remembers that,
you know,
don't
that, you know, it was completely unlike anything they'd seen before. I mean, there was Top of the Pops showed it and got a barrel load of complaints.
Yeah,
about
I bet.
It. People like, what the hell? I think they actually had to ban the video at one point because it was scaring young children.
Gosh, yes, if I remember that actually quite correctly, yes. You know, because there was a lot of stuff there where obviously what you have to remember is back then, you know, children weren't exposed to, not that it should be anyway, but they weren't, you know, the media and the things that were on, you know, nothing was that accessible. You know, you couldn't accidentally, you know, or purposefully just look up a video online or anything like that. It would have had to have been on a specific music show to be able to watch it, you know. So I think, you know, it's a real shame in some ways that people have become less sensitive to things like that. So, you know, it's interesting that back then they were like literally lots of complaints. And, you know, I think that adds to the band's notoriety as well. Oh
yeah, I think, but yeah, they were in many ways a hugely controversial band.
Most definitely, yeah.
And yeah, it was just when you think about, and yeah, you know, we just look back at the 90s and we're just like, wow.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
But
it's so progressive. Yeah. Like, you think there was a lot of random rubbish, like the cartoons and all that sort of thing as well, but there was a lot of influential things as well, you know, that kept happening. And I think, you know, some of the really bad bands that were around were terrible, but then, you know, a lot of the stuff that we experience now is, you know, a lot of cheese. So I think, you know, the fact that the Prodigy was so influential back then is fantastic, you know?
Yeah, I think that, you know, I mean, he leaves behind a huge legacy of music that
most definitely,
will be listened to for years to come.
Oh, God, yes, definitely. I think there's going to be a lot of music. And, you know, I always find this scary, but I can guarantee you that his music will become more popular. The Prodigy's music will become more popular now more than ever. And
no one had forgotten it.
No one had forgotten it, and they certainly won't now. And I find that depressing in some ways, but also great in others. That the music will find a new life and be very interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, if for the youngsters watching this, go check out some Prodigy.
Yes, indeed. And if you haven't seen any Prodigy stuff, please, please, please do check it out and listen to a lot of their albums because it's fantastic. I really think it's fantastic.
Exciting music. It's
genuinely exciting.
Real atmosphere. There's real passion there. So.
Genuinely exciting and visceral would be a word I would use.
Good one.
Visceral. And I would definitely say big thanks to, of course, Synth John and, of course, Scorpius9472 for the inspiration of the making of this video. So thank you very much, guys. And I look forward to your comments in the comments bar. And please do chat to me and Nick in the comments. And thank you very much, and a big RIP to Keith.
And thank you for the music, Keith.
Thank you for the music, mate, because it's fantastic and you will be missed. I'll see you later on, guys. Bye for now, Barmy Badger Army.
Bye for now.
Thanks very much, Nick, for joining me once again.
You're welcome as always, and happy Shrove Tuesday, everyone.
Happy Pancake Day, peeps. See you later. Scoff a pancake for us. See you later on, guys. Bye.